Last Night in Soho, what a trip that movie was. But what did the ending mean with Sandy unexpectedly showing up in the mirror and her and Ellie smiling at each other? I feel like I've finally figured out the purpose of that final moment, so I thought it would be good to do a short video on it. So to break it down, we're going to use one theme. Quest for identity, where we'll discuss Ellie's love for the 60s, Ellie's mother, Sandy, Ellie's relationship with Sandy, and of course, the final shot with Sandy in the mirror smiling. And if you like this video, please leave a thumbs up and a comment, it helps so much. And if you want to see more of these, please make sure to subscribe as well. Let's get started. Theme number 1, Quest for Identity. Ellie is clearly a massive fan of the 60s. Her room is filled with posters and items representing the fashion, music, and pop culture of the 60s. She clearly loves 60s music as she's always playing it, and the clothes she wears are heavily influenced by popular styles in the 60s from London. And while at the beginning of the movie, this all seems harmless to her well-being, it actually establishes that Ellie dwells a little too much in the past. And this applies to her designing, her mother, and her nightly trips to 60s London. And here's what I mean. The designs of her clothes are beautiful, but they do often come off stylistically as being pulled straight out of the 60s. It's like she hasn't truly found her genuine voice as a designer yet. She also has these vivid moments where she sees her mother, who has passed away. And we hear in the film that sometimes these moments can feel overwhelming for Ellie, as she feels she has to fulfill the expectations that she imagines her mother would have had for her. Also, when she makes this fantastical, supernatural transition into the 60s, she is literally living through the eyes of someone else, who is Sandy, and she enjoys living this other young woman's life more than her own. We see in the beginning that she can't wait to go back to bed to return to the 60s and live through this beautiful, glamorous, up-and-coming entertainer. And even when she goes back to the present day, she tries to replicate the image of Sandy, because she enjoys being Sandy more than being herself. She gets the same hairstyle and the same jacket at an extravagant price. And as said before, the design of her dress is directly pulled from the 60s, being literally Sandy's dress. Clearly, Ellie is heavily in search of identity, experiencing life partially as a passenger. And this theme of absence of identity is symbolized in Sandy as well, when Sandy uses a series of names to separate her performances from her personal life, and her personal life from her sexual favors. So in the end of the film, after physically facing the spiritual demons of Sandy's past, while mentally facing the psychological demons of her own past, Ellie discovers her own authentic voice as a designer and simply as a unique and special individual. Her courage to face and accept the demons of the past have changed her for the better. Her designs are more authentic at her final fashion show, as they have a vintage 60s foundation, but include innovative contemporary details. Her hair also goes back to its natural brown color, but with a slight 60s style. She also finds a way to embrace the fact that she is so attached to the past mentally and even spiritually, while also living in the now. The best indication of this is when Peggy says, "If your mother had been here today, she would have been proud of you." And then Ellie says, "She is proud of me." And in the final shot of the film, that looks just like this shot, but is in the design room, this idea is simply driven further. Ellie sees a vivid image of Sandy in the mirror, but after being initially shocked, she approaches her with a smile. This ending indicates that Ellie can embrace the past, but not be trapped in it. The character of Sandy represents Ellie's strong attachment to the 60s. Ellie now knows that she doesn't need to try to be Sandy, nor even fear the idea of Sandy. Ellie will no longer be haunted by her past, and now will be able to happily face her past, and embrace her past as part of who she is in the very moment. Alright, this is my analysis. Subscribe for weekly videos, and please send me recommendations. And feel free to ask questions if you're curious about anything else I would love to discuss. Thank you so much for watching, and see you later.